Yo, welcome back to this channel in Charizard Mafia freaking Indonesia. And today on this video, we're gonna be talking about like a lot of Charizard cards, We're gonna be discussing about its tier list, its good investment, its awesome art, whether the art is like good or not. As you can see, I've prepared like most of them like on the panel below, and we are gonna ranking them, based like on their playability, on their investment standpoint, and then on their artworks, and probably based on my personal opinions about those cards, So as you can see, like these Charizards are like super cards in Pokemon, They will always be the holy grail, because like I am collecting them immensely, and I do think that they are some sort of a good investment in the game, So just say if you got like a lot of gold cash and you probably like have enough profits on Pokemons, and you wanna like invest on the things that you love, you could probably grab like one or two boxes of these cards, buy them right now because they're kind of low, and then like let them sit for a while, and then you enjoy the returns, just say in like 2 or 3 years, some cards are probably increasing in like 1 year, but then they are rare, and most cards are probably gonna be increasing like even more in like 5 or 10 years, They are good investments, so but then you need to choose like which card you want to invest, because right now we are discussing the tier list, and that's the purpose, right? So let's begin with the Charizard base set, So this is the card. So this is the card, man, like the Charizard base set, and it has been reprinted, especially like this art, it has been reprinted like just about 10 times, First like this one, the first edition Shadowless, the base set normal run, and then the base set to the legendary collections, and then the legendary collections reverse, and then the what else, like evolutions, and then celebrations, and they are overprinting this card. You know why? Because like this card is always gonna be that iconic, So based on the arts, it is kind of awesome, but then like investment standpoints, probably the base set first edition Shadowless like can push the rank for this Charizard like forward, because like the first edition Charizard Shadowless, so whenever like Pokemon has like fluctuations on moments, like that affects the pricings, whether it's increasing or decreasing, the cards that are gonna be affected the most are gonna be like the first edition Shadowless cards, right? The Holy Grails, they're gonna be like increasing immensely or like dropping down like drastically. So I think if you know your game, if you know what you are doing, this card could be like a super good investment. You can but then you should know when to sell, like how much to sell, and then when to buy, or those kind of stuffs lah. And then like for like playability, this card is garbage. Like this card is running around when the the chase cards for like drawing engines was like the energy denials, and they are so prevalent, like during those era, like the energy removals and the super energy removals. So this card is not very good in playability, so I'm gonna give this card an A tier. Awesome art, like very iconic, but then too much reprinted, man. And then like competitive is garbage, so I'm gonna give this one an A tier because I love this card so much, just based on my personal opinion. And the second one, let's move to the Shining Charizard shit. Yeah, this Shining Charizard. So what's nice about this card is that it is not being reprinted ever. So you will only find this card in first edition and the unlimited run, and that's it. And what's interesting is that this is a Shining Pokemon, so you could only basically like play one of this in a deck, and Shining mons are always basic back then in the like Neo sets, and this is a basic mon, but then unfortunately you cannot ever attack with this one. You cannot ever attack with this one because it has like 5 energy costs, while the energy denials were prevalent. Just about the same timings as this base set Charizard. So you could never attack with this card. This is just like a card that's good for yourself, for your cupboards, for your cabinets, or whatever. This card is just good for display, and investment standpoint, this card is quite okay. The art is awkward, probably this is the Charizard with the least attractive artworks in my opinion, because I'm an illustrator as well, and this is just not amazing. So based on that, I'm gonna give this a B tier, man. Nah, I'm just gonna give it C because the artwork sucks and it can never see play. And the third one is a Crystal Charizard. This was printed on like just about the most expensive sets available right now, the Skyrids. And if you don't know why that set is so popular, because it contains the Charizard, the Crystal Charizard, reverse and holo version, and then like this is the set that the Wizard of the Coast last printed before it was taken over by Nintendo. And this is it, man. So like whenever you attach blah 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 from your hand to Charizards, it becomes that type. So it will always be a good offense, you know, because it can change its typings. Crystal Mons always have like that Pokebuddies, and discard an energy card attached to Charizards. Finally, this is, I think, probably the first Charizard cards with like 3 energy cost attacks, so it could probably attack somehow, you know. And on this era, you know, like the energy denials were, I think, rotated out, and it was replaced by energy removal too, which you need to flip a coin in order to activate that. So this card could definitely attacks, you know. And the Dragon Tail, I love how they make the attacks. It's not discarding all of its energies or like those kind of garbage shit, you know. So investment, man, like this is super special awesome in investment, because like the Skyrid's normal holo cards are like super increasing by itself, you know. And we are talking about the Charizards, you know, so this one is always like definitely most likely to be increasing in price. So I'm just gonna give this card an S tier. This is our first S tier, man. So put it like on top, you know, like tier 1 or 2, not really, but then this card could be like somewhat competitive. Could at least see plays, you know, like good invest, of course, and then awesome art, checked, you know, so S tiers. We got our first S tiers. And next we got this Expedition Charizard. Its Poke Power is basically just about the same as the base set Charizard, and Scorching Wind is basically just about the same, but it's like somewhat added flip effects, and which if you like flip one head, it is not as bad as the base set Charizards, but then if you flip all tails, it's removing all the energies. And this card, man, is like a downgraded version of a base set Charizards. That's what I was thinking. The only redeeming qualities about this one is that if you like 3D designs, this card has like window 95 3D artworks, you know, and then like this card is like inside an e-reader set, you know, like this set, you know, like the Expedition and like e-reader stuffs, you know, are gonna be increasing in price. So this is, I think, a somewhat better investment than the base set Zard. Not the first edition Shadow Zard, but then it's better than the base set Zard. So based on that, and because it's like a cheaper knockoff of the base set Charizards, I'm gonna give this one a B tier. Yo, B tier. Not competitive at all, but then super good investment, and then like okay art, you know. And next, you know, the Expedition, another Charizard. This was not reprinted on a holo, so anything that's not a rare holo, it's not gonna be good investment. Playability, of course, garbage, you know, like most Charizards here are gonna be garbage in play, you know. So the art, I don't quite like it as well, you know, so I'm just gonna give it a E tier, like meh. This is probably gonna be like the worst Charizard that you could invest in, you know, probably in my opinion. And let's move to the Delta Species Charizard. This card is interesting because it was printed on a lightning and metal typings, you know, and which makes the artworks kind of super duper amazing, because like if you can see, like it has like somewhat yellow aura, you know, which like fits perfectly with the borders and the layout, you know. And its moveset, you know, the Peal of Thunder. Once during your turn, when you play this card, you may excavate 5 cards and then play as many energy cards. And this was good, because like when we see like Blastoises and Charizards, Blastoise are always see more play, you know, because like they are usually energy engines, but then the Charizards are like energy waster. And energy engine is always gonna be nicer than the energy waster. This is a Charizard that can function as an energy engine, and the metal burn itself is not discard all metal energy attached to Charizards. Discarding metals was okay, like on 2021, but back then it was not okay in like 2004 and 2005, you know, like back the time when this card was released, you know, because like metals are only printed as a special energy back then, and basically you can only play 4. So this card could never ever attack. And you don't want to attack with this card anyway, because like it discards all the metal energies which like function super great on your Pokemons, you know. It can tank, like it can reduce like basically 10 damage, and 10 was huge back then, you know. So this card is used for the engine, you know. And the infestability, this card was good because like EX series are currently on the rise, you know. They're like been through like this kind of graphics, you know, like so the first release, and then they are dropping down a bit, and then like right now they are kind of rising, you know, and they are not yet like reaching its top peak position of value, you know. So they are still like increasing, especially like the reverse holo version of this mon, you know. See like this one, it is super increasing. It is like as expensive as the base set Zards right now. So I'm just gonna give this one an S tier because it's like very good in playability, super good investment, and awesome art. Yeah man. So let's move to Charizard Gold Star. This is interesting because like the gold stars and shinings are once again always gonna be basic, and this is a decent HP mon for a basic, you know, because like back then the tier levels, you know, like even like stage 1 is like 70 or 80 HP. So this card, like a basic mons with 90 HP, is always good. And gold star is always nice. This is like the second most expensive gold stars after the Rayquaza, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then the rotating claws, discard an energy attached from your discard pile and then attach it to Charizard. And this is good because like back then, once again, you know, like darkness energies are only printed as a special energy cards, and that darkness energies are like adding like 10 extra damage when held by a darkness Pokemon. So this card could like somewhat, you know, like abuse the darkness energies because like you can use it on your other mons, and then when this card is attacking, you can use it on this mon. And the Dark Swirl, you know, like discard all energies and discard the top 5 cards. Why would you want to attack with this? I guess this could be like a pinch hitter, you know, so just say like if you only like have like 1 prize remaining, and you could somehow attack with this one. But then I don't think this is super nice on playability. But then this was not bad, you know, this was not bad. But it's not like tier 1 for sure. None of the Charizard cards are tier 1. But then I'm just gonna drop down my like ranking levels, you know, because like I saw this card, man, like none of them are like tier 1. Anyway, so good playability, like awesome investment. I'm just gonna put it on like S tier, and I think this is like either S or A. So I think this is just one of the best, man. So, and it's not getting reprinted, you know, so value is like going up and up and up, especially it's PSA 10, you know. So S tier, man, like let's go. Another Charizard EX. No need like much discussion. This card is an E tier because no investment returns on this one, man. Like this card is just too new. Probably you could grab a hold of this card and then wait for like 20 years, then watch it like slightly increasing in value. But then no one will know if we would ever like live in like 20 years. So I'm just gonna give it like E tier. No playability and like garbage investment points, and the art is still redeeming quality, you know. But then like newer cards usually have like better arts, you know. So this card on like 2018-ish, when this card was printed, it's not good, man. Only fetch like $8, you know, if you are wondering about the pricings. So this Mega Charizard, this could somewhat attack because like 5 energies and does not have to discard any energies to attack. Charizard Phoenix on 2020 is dealing the same damage, but then this is not like discarding energies, you know. Somehow Pokemon is like adding different costs for this card to attack, like discarding the top 5 cards of your deck, which is like not a big deal. And this card could abuse the double dragon energies in expanded. So this card's playability is good. investment standpoint though, it's not. And this card art is good, but then like in 2018 there are like just about that many cards that have like this kind of artworks or better. So redeeming quality, the playability, investment standpoint, garbage. So I'm just gonna put it like D tier, because like investment standpoint is so important in a card, you know. That's what the collector does, you know. They will not be investing on cards with a bad return. And this is just like one of them, you know. I think like you keep this card for 10 years, you will just about like seeing like a Sulcata walks, you know. It will probably like take you to your goals, but then like super slowly, you know. So yeah man, like too slow of an investment, you know. And this card is just about the same as this one from any standpoint, but then this is having a worse attack. So I'm just gonna put it like garbage levels. Finally, the F tier levels is this Mega Charizard with a fire typings. This is just basically a worse version of this Dragon type Charizard. So let's go and discuss about this team up Charizard. So this basically has like two versions. One is the pre-release form, and one is the theme deck or the team up version. And I do think that this version has better artwork, but then this one is printed more. So other than this KFC version of this card, like I'm gonna show you, it will most likely never increase in price because they are printed as a regular rare, you know, like not even a holo on team up, you know. And its team deck version, the Shattered Holo, could increase in price, but then every time you buy a team deck you will get that card anyway, so it will not be super high in value. So this card is garbage on like investment standpoint, other than the KFC Charizards, you know. But then it's super duper awesome in playability because this is the only Charizard that can attack with 0 energy. Actually like 2 energies, but then you could use its ability to charge itself, you know. This is an S tier based on playability and garbage investment standpoint, but then we have like KFC version of this. So like I'm gonna give it a B tier, because its artwork is not redeeming at all, it's not inspiring at all. So B tier, I think it's enough for this card. And let's move on to the Stormfront Charizard. So this was printed as a secret rare and was drawn by the same Mitsuhiro Arita. This card was printed to commemorate the original artwork for a Charizard, the base set. I think this one is a better card in terms of illustration standpoints, but then as a card, the old one is just more iconic. Nothing could replace that base set Charizard. So just about the same artwork points as the base set Charizard. Investment standpoint, this is good because like it never reprinted, and competitive, it's garbage, like super garbage, because like this has the same effect as the base one, whereas the base one never saw play anyway, and it was like on 1999, and this card was printed in like 2007, which the tier levels is like already increasing, man. So this card is super garbage in play. Okay investment, like super good investment, and like good art, and I'm gonna give it B tier just based on playability. It could never see play ever. And let's move to a Diamond and Pearl Charizard. And this card, I'm just gonna give it like D tier because like investment standpoint for this card is not good. It has like an okay playability, but then okay cards won't win games for you. So you would never use this card for play anyway. No investability, and then like good art. D or C tier. I'm just gonna give it like D tier. Yo, and then like this card, the Charizard level X, like awesome artworks, you know. I think this is like one of the best artworks ever for Charizards, you know. I love how it has like Cyrus in it. This Zard is looking somewhat malevolent, you know, because that's the point, because it's owned by the leader of the bad gangs, the Team Galactics, and the call for power is super good. As often as you like, you could move any energies to this Pokemon, but then The attack, man, like Malevolent Fire, flip a coin if tails, discard all energy cards. And again, man, like, just say if this card is reincarnated as a martial artist, that martial artist could only use a punch, where after you use that punch, you need to rest for like 2 days. So during that 2 days, you will be getting hit by everyone anyway. So this card is not good in playability, you know, because it's moving energies to itself, but then its attack is garbage. And I don't think this card ever see play, you know, back in the era, you know, like 2007, 2008, you know. Super good investment, I guess, because Diamond and Pearl is not yet rising. So other cards like, just say, Time Space Distortion, it's not yet rising, so it's still like an $80 card in English and like a $30 cards on Japanese, you know, and it's not yet rising. So you could grab a hold of like some of this card and watch it rise, you know, because it's gonna be soon, man. Diamond and Pearl era. So super good investment, probably one of the best, man, because it's not yet rising. And the awesome art, garbage competitive levels. So I'm just gonna give it like A tier, the same as the base set Charizard. And let's move to Detective Pikachu. This set was garbage. Again, man, like, this set was trash. Because the only chase cards is this Charizard, probably like Greninja, and then on the Japanese version we got this weird S card, you know, Lieutenant Yoshida. And this is the best card that you could pull in the expansion, you know, like the Detective Pikachu expansion. And no good investment, man. Like, good art, competitive standpoint is not good because we do have like better option for Charizard GX. So I'm gonna give it like C tier based on everything. And finally, we are moving to like a newer version of Charizard, the Hidden Fates promo Charizard. And this card, I think it's the first Charizard to ever see play in a tier 1 deck, because this was a 1-tech card on a Mewtwo Welder deck, because that Mewtwo is using its GX attack like 4 energies for 300 and doing nothing, like not discarding energy, that kind of shit, you know, that every other Charizard cards have, you know. But this one is like 4 energies for 300 is good because like it hits the number, you know, it can knock out like enemies Mewtwo's or ADPs, you know, while not discarding any cards, and can be done on the second turn, you know, because like can be done on second turn because like one attachment, another attachment, and then like welder, so you can attack using like its GX attack on your second turn. So this card, okay playability on a tier 1 deck, but then investment standpoint, you know, it's like so bad because this card is printed as a promo on 18 on a newer expansions, which is the Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates itself is a good investment, but then like a card that you can get at least one every time you buy a new tin is not a good investment card, and that is dropping down the ranking for this month by quite a margin. So I'm just gonna give this one a C tier, because a B tier, because this is the first Charizard that appear on a tier 1 deck, and we got to respect that, you know. This was printed on a Vanilla GX group of mons, and it is meant to be bad, but then somehow we could use its Flare Blades attack, you know, so it's a surprise card, you know. So B tier, man. And let's move to the shiny Charizard GX. So this is a good card. It could somewhat see play, like its first attack like 3 energies for 70 damage. We could never use that because like we do have basic Pokemons attacking for better. But then its second and third attack is good somewhat, because like its third attack could mill the enemies like shitless, you know. So, and investment, I don't think this is a good one. This would be good, but then this is currently, you know, like the graphics of Pokemon, you know, it first released dropping down a bit, and then it will rise up in value. So this card is like currently in this position right now, so it's gonna be dropping down a bit and then it will slowly rise. So investment standpoint, this card is on its wrong timing right now, so I will give it like B tier, because if you buy this one, you will need like so many years to see returns, and that is the reason it's not like S or A tiers. Probably in 10 years from now, this could be an S tier, you know, because it is a cool shiny Charizard, but then currently it's a B tier. It's not a good investment choice. And the last one is this Charizard Phoenix. So it could attack for 5 energies for 300, which not hits the number against like Phoenixes. But then like, this is the first Charizard Phoenix card printed. It will probably like have like certain values in 10 years, but then it will take too long, because this is like a shiny fates expansion and it is like fairly new, man, and so many PSA 10s, man. So I guess like even its PSA 10 won't see much returns, like much increase in value, you know, because like too many players are grading this card and get a 10, you know, because this is like in a new expansion. Playability wise, it's okay. Investment, I think it's bad. So I never, if you are looking at my Charizard collection, you will see many versions of Charizards, but then never the shiny GX or VMAX. Never the newer one, because it will take too long to give you a return. Not good. Redeeming quality is the artwork, and C tier. Even the Indonesian version of this card is currently like super dropping in value, you know. It was, when it first released, people were like buying this out in auction for like $200 each, but right now it won't even get bid higher than like $120. So in an investment graphics, you know, it is currently like in this position. It will drop down, and in 5 years it will rise up, but then it's gonna take too long, man. So, and investability is very important in Zard, because that is the reason this card exists, you know. None of this Pokemon is meant to be tier 1, but then we could build a deck and win with this Charizard Delta species, the Gold Star, the KFC Charizard, and then this Hidden Fates one. We could somehow win with those cards. But then like the other ones though, I don't think you could win with those decks unless you're like super good players and you're fighting like trashy opponents, which would rarely happens, right? Yeah, it will like rarely happens.